Okay, thank you. I'm informed that the challenge that was being faced has been resolved. I think yesterday we had a discussion from the government representatives, the incubators, and also we had the remarks from our principals. And one of the aspects that came out was the issue of accessibility to information, that the entrepreneurs cannot access information or find it difficult to access the information that they need to make the informed decisions. So today we are going to start with a presentation from Mr. Sean Henning of BMI Research, who is going to give us main findings of the research or the market study that was commissioned by the Brazilian embassy, and that maybe that would start the issue of availing information to the entrepreneurs. So Sean, the floor is yours. You can proceed with the presentation.
Thank you for the invite and for the introduction. I'm just going to share my screen then quickly. Can everyone see that?
Yes, I can see it. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So as mentioned, BMI was commissioned by the Embassy of Brazil just to do a review of the agri-tech industry in South Africa. Just a bit of background on BMI. BMI is a South African-based market research company that's been around for 40 or so years. A company that's very passionate about the work we do, involved in various sectors and industries around the country. How we go about the research that we conducted for this project. We conducted primary interviews with industry players, and I give a bit of background on the top-down, bottom-up approach that we used. So talk to investors, government offices, universities, bottom-up spoke to various industry players. And obviously, in addition to that, anything else that's available within the industry, with the public domain out there, published reviews and everything else that we're able to put together to publish our data on this report, on this industry. Jumping right into the data. So what I've got here is firstly starting on the top left there, it's just some of the highlights that came out of the research. So industry value for South Africa in 2021, estimated at about 1.5 billion Rand. In US dollar terms, about 90.8 million US dollars. From a CAGR perspective, so the growth rate, the average growth rate between 2017 to 2021, we see all in Rand terms about an 8.2% growth. And then in US dollar terms, 2.9% growth, so average growth rate over that period. Total number of industry players, developers, providers, vendors, etc., 250 plus. It's quite buoyant. There's quite a few players that are active in South Africa. The number of agritech investors that are active, around 50, or over 50, sorry, and then incubators and tech hubs over 50 as well. I'd like to move your attention to the top right graph there, which just gives input or give it a view of what the growth rate is in US dollar terms per year. And you'll see that from 2017 through to 2019 in US dollar terms, industry grew quite nicely with a slight slowdown into 2020, and then a little bit of growth going to 2021. Interesting thing is that the slowdown we've seen is as a result of the weakening of the South African currency, not as opposed to a slowdown, not caused by a slowdown in terms of activity. The Rand, unfortunately, South African currency, the Rand, unfortunately, weakened during this time, which caused this slowdown. But if you look at this graph in Rand terms, you're actually seeing consistent growth, not at the same rate as we saw from 2007 to 2019, but still growth happening within the industry into 2020 and to 2021. The particular reasons that we've seen that has driven this growth and contributed to the growth in the industry has been firstly the adoption. Various industry players have started adopting and being more comfortable with the idea and use of agritech technology. In the past 10 years ago or so, people were resistant, people were unsure about it. Now people are quite comfortable with the idea and obviously comfortable with the benefits of it as well. Along with that is obviously the ever-increasing industry players, vendors, etc., that are getting involved in the sector, providing innovative solutions that are custom built for the South African agricultural industry, which is obviously fueling the demand for it. And then lastly, we have to mention e-grocery. So obviously during 2020, with the advent of COVID, you had a lot more consumers at home, suppliers at home, etc., having to deal with different challenges. And what we saw is the advent and increased demand and use for e-grocery. On the right here, you'll see what we have is the growth of the various subsectors, and you'll see in US dollar terms again, and e-grocery being the fastest grower, particularly over the last 2 years. in the African agri-tech industry. Moving on to some of the opportunities we've identified through the research that we conducted. Firstly, we've split them up in 3 sectors: before the farm, inside the farm, and after the farm. Before the farm, from a seed planting perspective, via the use of drones being quite successful, community platforms facilitating shared economy. So typically what happened is that I would have a tractor, my neighbor would have other farming implements, the neighbor across the road would have a plow, and we would communicate together about optimizing the use of our various implements. Different developments around fertilizer and nitrogen or management of farm lands. Data hubs of seed variants, making sure you're planting the right seed on the right land to produce the right results, and obviously financial insurance solutions. I'm going to drill down into that quite soon. In the farm, precision farming, making sure you're farming correctly and to optimize your use of farming. Irrigation and obviously pesticide applications, use of that also, and I'm also going to drill down into that, particularly regarding drone usage in that. And hydroponics, I mean, it's an area that provides quite nice solutions from a margin perspective, so quite a few developers around that. After the farm, trading platforms that facilitate obviously activity, increased use of e-grocery, as we said, and then food safety and traceability. Unfortunately, in South Africa, there was a listeriosis outbreak in 2018, which obviously did increase the need and the use of food safety and traceability in South Africa as well. What I'd like to do now is actually drill down to particular opportunities that we've seen. Just firstly, from the e-grocery perspective, as I mentioned, so different platforms and marketplaces, and you'll see on the top right there, we've highlighted some of the major players that are involved in South Africa, providing those types of solutions. So opportunities that have come out of that, and I have to highlight this African fresh produce market as one of those. Opportunities that have come out that we'd like to highlight is this African fresh produce market is looking at developing a smart market. So obviously during COVID, they facilitate the sale of, or facilitate a process of farmers getting together with traders and for the sale of fresh fruits and vegetables and other agricultural products as well. And during COVID, obviously that didn't happen. So they're looking for developing a smart market approach to bring those together on an electronic or online platform. The nice thing about this is because the Johannesburg Fresh Produce Market is the largest in South Africa, that facility will then most probably be rolled out to the 13 other fresh produce markets in South Africa as well. So creating quite a significant opportunity. Obviously beyond that is the partnering with mentioned companies above, and there are various others as well, and seeing what solutions there are available in Brazil or available globally that can be brought to South Africa, and assisting and partnering with local players on that. Secondly, we're moving on to financial and insurance solutions and what's available out there. Again, top right, highlighting some of the major players that we picked up in South Africa that are involved from Agritech, financial and insurance solutions. What we've seen is in the past, there's been a need, or has been a bit of a hesitation at least, regarding the use of these online financial platforms, a bit more of a preference for the traditional brick and mortar solution that is out there. The interesting thing is that what was communicated to us is a need to provide a solution or an outside person coming in or outside entity coming in to market all of it that's available and communicate these opportunities and communicate these solutions to the industry so that everyone is more comfortable in using it. Obviously difficult for different competitors to use that, to facilitate that. So we need an outside entity to come in and provide that solution. In addition to that, there was a need expressed for just standard options that cater for everyday agricultural solutions. There are a lot of great solutions out there, but most often they're quite niche focused. So the need was expressed to get one holistic approach that will provide something for all of the needs and all the different farming methods and applications that are used within farms, and insurance needs that are relevant in South Africa. Beyond that is irrigation, crop spraying, and obviously GIS solutions as well. Again, we've highlighted some of the major players in South Africa that are involved in that segment. Obviously, initially it would be the expanding of the current irrigation crop spraying solutions globally, and obviously again in Brazil, there will be great solutions that can be brought to South Africa and partnered with local players to provide that. In addition to that, there's major companies in South Africa, for instance, Aerobotics, that has been quite successful. Quite a successful startup in South Africa. They've had 2 or 3 rounds of funding that has happened. There's talk of them having additional rounds of funding happening going forward. Obviously, opportunity to fund with them and partner with them to immediately be involved with a major business. And obviously, in addition to that, there are all the other players that are out there as well to partner with and provide solutions that are available globally and again in Brazil. Then, obviously, in addition to that, seed planting. Interesting developments around seed planting that's happening in South Africa as well. We did touch on it earlier. So some of the major companies, again, that are involved, and some of the affiliated members. similar again, apologize, I'm repeating myself, but there will be so much available globally, available in Brazil, that can be brought to Africa, partnered with local players, and to provide, and obviously to agricultural players, farmers, etc., to provide these solutions. What was expressed, which was interesting, and a bit of an out-of-box solution, was there was a lack of availability for drones and related parts that are used within the agri-tech industry. So the view was a hardware solution, a hardware site for specifically agri-tech drone and part solutions that can be used, and obviously used by all the various players. Like I said, a bit of an out of the box solution, but something still that can be used. Then just obviously in conclusion, the South African industry, agriculture industry, is faced with various challenges, a lack of infrastructure, access to competitive markets, skills, funding, financial support, etc. Luckily, from an agri-tech perspective, there are solutions that are offered to cater for a lot of those needs that are out there. Some of the particular opportunities I just want to highlight again that we went through earlier. Again, the Johannesburg fresh produce market with their smart market that will be rolled out, most probably be rolled out to the other fresh produce markets in Africa. Significant opportunity, something to look at and something to look to partner with it, because there'll be various aspects involved in this project as well. Online financial solutions, a solution that offers something more realistic as opposed to the niche siloed approach that you see with some of the opportunities, some of the solutions that are out there right now. And obviously, like I said, the lack of available drones, a bit of a hardware solution for the drones and for the products that are used within agri-tech. So to reduce the cost and obviously increase the availability. Looking forward, the expectation is that the industry will continue to grow going forward over the medium to longer term. Obviously, continued interest, adoptions, innovative solutions that are coming to the industry. And obviously, lastly, the recovery that's expected within South Africa and globally after COVID. And obviously, the benefits that it'll bring from a consumer interest perspective and from a development perspective is expected to be quite positive in South Africa. I hope I met the 15 minutes. Apologize for talking so fast. I was required to do this, and in the previous practice sessions, I was running over. So I hope I did that within the 15-minute timeline. So good.
No, thank you a lot, Sean, and that you managed to do it within 15 minutes. And this is very, this is very informative. And thank you to the Embassy of Brazil for commissioning such a study. Often, what we find within our entrepreneurs, they mistaken their passion for the product for what the market requires. So I think this helps us and gives us the direction into what to focus, both as incubators, policymakers, and in addition to the entrepreneurs. When you do your technologies, align it to what the market requires. That would also help to lower down the issues around funding, because if you have a product that is required by the market, it is willing to pay for whatever price for that product, and then you can self-fund and reduce the burden on the funders. And what is also interesting, Sean, what you identified on pre-farming or on the farm is also a similar scenario that we find with other entrepreneurs, where we are talking of community platforms. It's not just about the tractors, it is also about the equipment. Yes. Can you come together, pool your resources, utilize the equipment effectively? If you run alone and you want to be successful alone, you will be so lonely that whenever you meet a predator, you will be devoured. But if you are many, you can actually chase the predator away. So try and work together. And also, I saw there's Livestock Wealth. It's one of the entrepreneurs that was incubated at the Innovation Hub, which means the incubators are doing something good. But let me not try and preach much about the incubators, and let's hear from the entrepreneurs themselves who have been supported by these by the incubators and other institutions, and let's hear their stories. And the upcoming presenters, I hope you are going to demonstrate the aspects of elevator pitches by also giving us the most relevant information within the shortest period of time. And participants, please keep on asking questions, sending comments into the Q&A box so that we can discuss, because I haven't seen anything with regards to Sean's presentation, but you can write in there and then we can always ask the questions. So in this session, next session, we are going to have entrepreneurs. We've got Mr. Leandro Silva, From Brazil, we have got Rufaro Rashirai, we have got Ricardo Imai, we have got Lefego Nolo Ramongalo, we have got Simone Brand, and Bandile Labandi in that order. So I'll give you the floor, and I'll also be taking the questions within the Q&A box, so we can give it a go. Let's start with Mr. Silva. Thank you so much. You can unmute and proceed with presentation, Mr. Leandro Silva.
Yes, there was a problem here with my microphone, but it's okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, you can go. Yes, you can go.
Okay. Just a second. Just I share my presentation. Just a second, please. Can you see my presentation? Okay. So good morning, good afternoon for all attendees. And first of all, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I want to say thank you for all the organizers of this Agritech Seminar. For us, it's a pleasure to be sharing with all of you our journey in these last 5 years, that since that we decided to start a new company here at Brazil. As you can see here, we have, just a second, we are operating in the market with two brands. The first brand that we launched in the market was pragas.com, that we launched at 2015. And in the last year, we launched Life Biological Control, is our newest brand. And I will talk a little more about each one of these two brands for you to understand how we are building and growing the CL Biological Enterprise, that is our company. And these two brands, just a second. Okay. So with these two brands, we pretend to act in two different markets here in Brazil. The first one is with pragas.com. Pragas.com is a Brazilian name, okay? Is like pests.com in English. And pragas.com is a R&D platform that provides to mainly for companies and agricultural research institutions that works with all kinds of pests in Brazil, main agricultural pests. So pragas.com provides target organisms as research supplies and service for our clients. And also this brand, this segment provides a base for Life Biological Control. That is the second brand that we started last year. That is the proposal of Life Biological Control is to be the first Brazilian franchise with 100 package of management for pest control in Brazil, with a portfolio of biological products that will provide to farmers that can make your management of pests with 100% of biological products. That at this time we know that the farmers need to use mainly chemical products to make the control the management of pests in your farm, in your crops. Our business model is based on a shared innovative center that provides innovative and research and development process for mainly for life biological control. With this model, we pretend to have not only pragas.com providing raw materials and products, but other companies, other startups, for example, inclusively from South Africa, for example, that can provide raw materials and products for life biological control that will be our brand to deliver products for our clients, our customers, that is the farmers. In this model, we have biofactory franchise in each region, or sometimes in each city that we have the main clients in Brazil, providing that we can produce the products very close in the fields that the farmers will use these products, because Brazil is so big, and the most challenge for us here is to do the logistics or transportation of these products until the farmer. This is a huge problem here in Brazil for us. So with this model, we pretend to achieve this challenge and produce the products more closely of the farmer and deliver a best quality products for our clients. And in this model, the franchise is very important because they will be our consultant for bring the expertise and for they bring the best recommendation for our products for our clients and customers. Our history started at 2015 when my partner Christiane decided to leave your job and started her doctorate at Exalc here at Piracicaba, and we found here in Piracicaba the best environment for investments and for business, and we decided at 2015 to start our company here at Piracicaba in Agritech, that is an incubator from the University of São Paulo. And in these 5 years that we started our company, our growing is being very expressive, is being exponential. As you can see here, we are growing more than 200% per year. Also in revenues and number of people and infrastructure. Nowadays we have 2 units, both here at Piracicaba, and this growth was very important some partnerships that we developed in these 5 years. For example, Exaltec, all the investments that we received from FAPESP, from FINEP, Desenvolve SP, the partnerships that we made with Embrapa to develop new products, the search of angel investments was very important for our development. Partnerships with Agritech Garage, for example, that Tomé is here in this session, was very important for us to have access of this environment with another entrepreneurs that can share their challenge, their experience, and for us to have the best practice to grow a business with a solid base in this period. So now we are very happy that we are building. This is our team that nowadays is with 34 employees that are helping us to build this company that we aims in the next 10 years until 2030 to be part of the main biological companies in the world. With life biological control, we aim to have a franchise system that can be one day we can be at South Africa, for example, but for in Europe, in US, all over the world with our biofactories and distributing our products all over the world. So I want to say thank you for again for the opportunity to share our journey with you. Here are my contacts. My name is Leandro Silva. Actually, I'm the COO of the company, and I will be available at the end of this panel to answer questions that you can have. Thanks again. I hope to have the right time to contribute for the success of this event. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. It's so inspiring to see the growth, and I hope other entrepreneurs are deriving benefits in seeing that sometimes growth, you start gradually and then you go exponentially. Can we hear from Mr. Rufaro Rashirai?
Good day, everyone. Good day, Mr. Togo. Just like to share my screen. Please advise if you're able to see it. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, I can see it. Thank you.
Okay. Good day, everyone. Today I'll be speaking quickly on Ashet Online and how our e-commerce platform is connecting farmers and fresh produce suppliers with buyers. I'll go over our presentation very quickly, being conscious of time. And I'll just go over as to what was the cause and the purpose for Ashet Online's existence, which is basically connecting people to their essential needs digitally. I'll go over the why. The COVID pandemic struck and it basically disrupted what we once knew as regular life, bringing uncertainty and a lot of instability. This in turn caused for some of the networks that we had within farmers to basically contact us and asking us to help them sell what was on their plots or farms. We mostly receive contact from your smallholder farmers, and a lot of them were really struggling given there was the lockdown that happened in South Africa. And majority of them had one major issue, that they had planted certain crops and they were having a lot of food wastage because they had very little to no market access, and there was very little movement allowed as well. In addition to this, they had workers that continued to be paid, but there was no money coming in due to the slow market and economic shutdown that basically happened. Working with food security and job security plan in mind, we saw a gap which allowed us to speak to the farmers and find out their true problems. And eventually we came to the conclusion as to we can help you focus on continue farming while we focus on selling and getting your products out to the market. How did we achieve this? Well, we have to look at our mission. Ashet Online's mission is connecting people to their essential needs digitally. This is basically by creating a seller-buyer relationship, thus creating a community within our platform. Some of the services that we offer on Ashet Online include, but are definitely not limited to, warehousing, which includes cold storage as well, logistics, which covers things such as last mile delivery. Our aim is also to create a true value chain from pre-farming, that is buying seeds or buying fertilizer, all the way to the consumer's plate. Within our system, we make use of data analytics tools to gain consumer insights and assist farmers to produce according to real market demands. With these insights, we came to certain outcomes that assisted us in facilitating and connecting farmers with buyers, and also connecting farmers with businesses, and also connecting farmers with consumers that required fresh produce. We are basically creating a reliable and sustainable community that offers not just transparency, but convenience as well. Our platform currently generates some good foot traffic, which averages about 29,000 page views per month. We're also giving this insight that we get to the farmers to produce more relevant crop to consumers based on buying behaviors. And in line with what was mentioned yesterday by Mr. Vuisile Pahani of TIA, we eventually look to link the data received based not just on consumer purchase behavior, but also data based on reliable weather forecasts for planting certain crops, and also economic growth, which eventually helps link farmers with the right partners on things such as financing and insurance. Ashet Online is not just selling the farmer's produce, but we also look into involving extra partners such as hardware suppliers for farming equipment, because we realize there is a need of not just producing your own crop, but you need equipment to produce this crop eventually. Therefore, our platform has been opened up in order to be able to create a true community by expanding just beyond food, but going even into the things such as technology. Therefore, we're including things within your hardware suppliers, including as well technology such as IoT devices, and also tech equipment suppliers, something in line with what Sean had mentioned earlier on. Within our platform, we are also currently expanding as well, shifting our entire domain and platform and how we handle customer care and how we even expanding into this hardware suppliers. We're also rebranding and expanding definitely due to demand and opening ourselves up to broader concepts within farming as per our farmers' requests. We've opened up pages and opened up sites that allow for things such as dedicated sellers page, whereby a farmer or a vendor can put their products on and display their full contact information for those that would like to inquire even on their own and just confirm as to how legit this person is and if they would like to engage on a one-on-one prior to purchasing something on our platform. We've also realized the need to open things such as Shop Local, where it's to emphasize a dedicated page to showcase products and offerings sold by local suppliers and manufacturers. I mean, if you'd like, you could visit our site or contact us more for more information. I would like to quickly just go over our ordering process just for visibility's sake. With our current platform, we allow those that have their produce to bring them online after certain vetting. Customers are able to inquire, order, and pay. From the moment of payment, we then, as Ashet Online, facilitate by contacting farmers or engaging with the farmers to ensure that your produce are received as the way you ordered them. This includes facilitating and assisting with things such as cleaning, processing of the warehouse, packaging, and delivery. And all of this is also done with the back end and the backbone of the foundation of Ashet Online, which is basically within the analytics division, where we observe consumer behavior and even the ordering process. And in turn, we revert back here to the consumer to improve their engagement and process, and back to their farmers according to any consumer insights that were given to them. Just to dig in a little bit in the farmers, how the farmers process works for those that are interested, is just a quick overview in terms of farmers are able to basically plow their crops And whatever they have, they're able to list it with the estimated time or ready to sow and sell period, which allows consumers to anticipate what is up and coming, and also allows consumers to see what is ready for immediate purchase. Once farmers have listed their produce on their market and ready to sell, we also facilitate for those that work on a wholesale, facilitating with things such as farmers that can only work with a minimum order quantity. Our platform allows and is open for those that have quantities and those that have large volume sales only. We've basically created, once again, a farmer-seller relationship online, where we are assisting in managing this relationship and also enabling farmers that are in the most remote of areas to display their products to those, be it within South Africa or beyond the South African borders. I would like to quickly show you some of the farm visits that we had with some of the farmers, where we engaged and found certain issues or certain queries and concerns that they had. And majority of them was there were very limited areas they could sell in. And especially during COVID period, they couldn't even engage with certain retailers that they once had open relationships with. And they were very limited in terms of even going to them. And in addition to it, one of the big problems that they faced was the moment they have to physically go to their retailer, it takes away from their operational day-to-day activities, which Ashet Online found the gap in order to facilitate and assist with such. Now, I would like to quickly show you some of the up and coming projects within our pipelines, which include, but not limited to, auctioning, which allows for farmers, once again, those that have products that are up and coming, products that are ready to be sold, and they know the expected period, they're able to therefore auction these products for the consumer, everyday consumer, whereby buyers are able to auction themselves within a certain period, and the winner were able to facilitate on the highest bidder in order for them to receive their goods as advertised. We're also bringing in things such as group buying. This allows for the individuals that would like to get a common item. We can now cross-reference the individuals based on the analytics we did in order to facilitate for group buying, as opposed to individuals buying small quantities. Once it's brought in group buying, it allows for a wholesale purchase, which can in turn reduce costs that are involved with smaller batches. We also have, according to the links which I could send for those that request, we are also partnering actually with your VR and AR, those within the VR and AR space, which is augmented reality and virtual reality. We currently have partners where we're working on developing a platform that allows even for somewhat futuristic buy. And the reason why I say somewhat is because I think in Africa and South Africa as a whole, we are slightly behind on this type of technology, but it is very much alive elsewhere. Therefore, with these partners of ours, we're looking at how do we integrate this augmented reality and also assist farmers, because within the fresh produce sector, there is a lot of touch and feel. And due to COVID and due to the pandemic, which you do not foresee as slowing down or changing anytime soon, we realized that there is a gap in order for you to get as close as possible to a touch and feel, especially for those that are within a different region or a different country altogether. And below is some of the links that you could follow for our platform. We have social media links with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we also have our platform with our rebranded products at shetonline.com. I'd like to thank the 22 and Sloan team and the Brazil Embassy and the rest of the team for this opportunity and arranging and allowing for us to present our products and our services. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rashirai. I think we can see the power in working together. It keeps on coming out. Our next presenter is Mr. Ricardo. Can you proceed?
Yes. Share my screen. Uh, okay, can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes, I can see. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, my name is Ricardo Imai. I'm going to talk a little bit about Cyan Agroanalytics, we are focused on weather. We have a background of 16 years doing cloud seeding projects with aircrafts for the largest water supply company in South America, Sabesp. And in this period, we've learned how to induce precipitation and also quantify our isolated rain cells of precipitations. So to do that, we had to work with multiple sensors like weather radars, weather stations, weather balloons, satellite data, and also atmospherical and hydrological models. Back in 2014, we started to work cloud seeding projects to agriculture soybean producers in North Brazil. And we've learned how they collect and how they use the rainfall information. And here in the tropics, during the wet season, the rains they're not uniform. They don't cover large, huge areas. They are very localized, and they move around move over the fields. So how does a 10 centimeters rain gauge could get us a good sample of the rain? And this rain is responsible, the weather itself is responsible for half of the agriculture yield. We see here with the equipments, the agricultures, they spend a lot of money. Here with precision agriculture also. And here with varieties and royalties, lots of money. And here, sometimes we see 5 or 6 plastic rain gauges. It's not fair. It's not fair because the rain is responsible for the plant growth. It triggers diseases and pests, and it impacts every single field operation. We came out with this technology to measure the amount of rainfall for each farm without averages or data interpolation, and we do it accumulating every hour, and we have this accumulation for the whole year. We also provide per farm, per field, the forecast for the rainfall for the next 9 days, and also charts for temperature, moist, rain, wind, and radiation. Since we have the rain backwards and temperature and radiation and other data from the forecast, it was easy for us to make a daily water balance per farm, per field. So we can show the hydric deficit per farm without these averages or data interpolations of rain gauges. No? We also can provide the soil water storage per day based on the single rain for each farm. So we can measure how the water is being stored in the soil of that farm per day until yesterday. It's when we closed the rainfall pack. And also the potential evapotranspiration and the real evapotranspiration according to the availability of water. We also provide NDVI images And for each farm, each field with a frequency of 5 days, it helps to visualize and anticipate problems and anticipate actions to correct those problems. Still in the NDVI, in addition to the images, we can measure the biomass in a timeline for each image. So we correlate the biomass here, the green line, with the rainfall, the daily rainfall for each field, and the median temperature in the timeline. So this might be a lot of information for the farm manager, but it's a lot of good information for artificial intelligence. We also provide a satellite monitoring for fire, and every time we identify fire close to a farm, we send out a sound alert right out of the browser, and we send out this Google Maps route to the fire location directly to the cell phones. Here we have an application program for the cell phones to register every fire combat, because in Brazil it helps to produce reports to avoid fines and environmental processes. All this information with high resolution, weather, NDVI, temperature, hydric deficit, and the data from the culture, they are being processed together with machine learning and artificial intelligence. It helps us to transform every single farm in a kind of lab, and this lab would generate information to produce yield estimatives, benchmarks, performance reports, risk analysis. And this is how we understand that we can get knowledge to get the most out of every single farm. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I think other entrepreneurs can see the service that you are offering and identify the opportunities for networking. And our next presenter is Mr. Lehlogonolo. So can you proceed? Mr. Lehlogonolo, you can proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Togo and Helena and the rest of the team. I'm about to share my screen. I'm just give me a notice that you can see it. Just a moment, please. Can you see my screen?
Kindly? Yes, we can see it. Thank you kindly. You can proceed.
Okay. It's still not showing on my side, but
It's at the end of the slideshow. You can scroll back.
Ah, there we go. There we go. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Dr. Togo and the rest of the team for this opportunity. My name is Lehlogonolo Ramongalo. My friends call me Shoni. And I am commercial leader and co-founder at Fig Tree Smart Facilities. Today, I'm going to be running you through a high-level overview of our company, why we exist for farmers, what we do, how we do it through our various services, and provide a high-level trajectory on the emerging future on those services, and briefly touch on how various innovation partners in the innovation ecosystem, both locally and globally, have helped us maintain our mission and vision. So Fig Tree Smart Facilities is a South African agritech and green power company, and we are focused on providing condition monitoring services and solutions to farmers, farmer associations, fresh produce markets, and agribusinesses in order for them to maximize their yield output while encouraging sustainable primary production and market access practices. So imagine here for a moment with me just being a farmer. Work is a constant battle to manage productive yields without sacrificing jobs, quality, or the long-term sustainability of your land. And that is why we exist. At Fig Tree, we help farmers harness the power of open data, technology, and green power in order for them to monitor their crops so that they can reduce risk and be competitive in the market. Together with our customers and partners, we are energizing and digitizing African agriculture. So how do we do this? So we have three core services. The first is farmer advisory services, where we provide farmers with farm-specific and customers with farm-specific land assessments, technology readiness assessments to assess the farm's readiness to adopt and use various technologies, and environmental impact assessments to help farmers leverage green power. The second service is what we call Pixelvo and the Edge services, which is a locally designed hardware gateway, farmers gateway, which helps farmers, which actually integrates with most devices, sensors, and cameras that you would find on the farm in order to give the farmer on-time analytics and integrate with third-party services that help farmers make decisions on a day-to-day basis. The third service is Energy as a Service, where we provide green power through long-term power purchase agreements, leveraging solar PV technologies and some of our partners. And with this service, we hope to provide farmers and players in the supporting industries like manufacturing, agro-processing, and sectors outside of agriculture like mining with reliable green power so that they too can leverage the carbon tax regime 2019. So back to Pixelvo, the trajectory that we have on the Edge services is that we have currently identified 550 communal and individual farmers across five provinces in South Africa who are willing to test our beta when it comes out in September of 2021 in spring. And we are hoping that by then to have extended our beta users to 10,000 users across South Africa. With regards to our trajectory on renewables, we are hoping to deploy 5 megawatts of renewable energy through power purchase agreements over the next 2 years to customers in agri and the supporting industries. Our partners in our initiatives have been very helpful in helping us realize our vision. The Innovation Hub and the Innovation Council based out in Geneva, we are working with them quite closely in helping influence policy in the form of regulations that help startups with IP protection, technology diffusion, and knowledge management. We also work quite closely with university partners in the knowledge ecosystem, and they help us leverage our own research and other research to create testable products that we can take to market. And AWS has been very, very critical in helping us develop localized digital skills in the areas of security, IoT, and machine learning in order to invent for our farmers on a continuous basis. In closing, I have identified 4 fundamental shifts in the area of agriculture that agri-tech and renewable energy is influencing. The first is a shift in knowledge, where we are seeing the decision-making process of the farmer moving from his gut feeling to index-based knowledge management systems. The second shift is a shift toward leverage, where the farmer stops relying on himself and starts leveraging on group performance at a local, regional, and global basis. The third shift is a shift in sustainability, where the farmer stops relying on hurtful Mother Nature and starts relying on insurance through contextual-driven data. And the final shift is a shift toward carbon neutrality, where farmlands in the world we live in are shifting from a world of fossil fuels to a world of renewable energies. So for farmers who want to, and farmer body companies who want to help their farmers reduce cost, farm low impact, high quality crops, Victory Smart Facilities is helping them with that battle. Thank you very much. And I'm hoping to make some new friends and connections, both locally and in Brazil.
Thank you so much. And we can see again that collaborating for innovation is really manifesting itself, and it is encouraging to see the number of partners that you are with. And I think maybe when we discuss, it will be interesting to see how do you balance the interests of all those partners. So our next presenter is Ms. Brandt from Plant Care. You can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Kogo, for the introduction. Let me share my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen. You can proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. So good morning and good afternoon to all participants from Brazil and South Africa. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm thankful for the opportunity. My name is Simone, and I would like to show you a little bit about our startup Plant Care today. Plant Care was born in 2017 by my partner Caroline and I. We are agronomists with PhD in phytopathology and MBA in agribusiness. We are based in Brazil, specifically in the city of Ribeirão Preto, São Paulo. And this is a picture of our research station. Here's my partner doing some evaluations in a soybean field. Our history starts from our love for science and begins at the Supera Park, where we had a lot of instruction and supporting for every step we made, always focusing in the best solution for our customers. Just to remind you, yesterday Henrique told you a little bit about the history and work from Supera Park. We are also incubated at Agritech USP and participated in innovation and business programs at the Brazilian Micro and Small Business Support Service here in São Paulo State. Plant Care is a research station who works in 3 different areas. First, providing service for national and multinational pesticides companies, doing agronomic effectiveness tests, as well as testing new genetic materials for soybean, for example, for these companies. Our goal is to work as a knowledge and generation center and research center, doing research in different areas of plant health, and also participating in undergraduate and graduate programs, helping to develop master's and PhD theses, and together with internship programs. What we offer in the provision of service is based in the pains that we identify in our clients. It's incremental innovation because we already have this kind of service. It is a service need by the pesticides companies. A range of service in our research station, an app so the clients can have access to results before the final report is delivered to the companies. We always work using scientific basis to explain positive or negative results to the companies. And we are accredited by the Brazilian Agriculture Ministry to doing tests for pesticides and fertilizers. We have been working in 6 different agronomic areas. So far with more than 10 cultures, from potatoes, peanuts, sugarcane, soybean, testing products for more than 10 national and multinational companies. For this happening, we have research partners from USP, as Professor Sergio Pascolati, who showed you yesterday the startup IDELAB, and we have our own team from researchers with Caroline and I. About partnership opportunities, we would like to work with algorithms and climatic data to predict disease occurrence, also with unmanned aerial vehicles. There are opportunities they already saw here today. We have been working with closely to small companies to develop products to plant health issues, and also with partnerships with research station and startups. What drives our work at Plant Care is execution with excellence, always working with ethics, confidentially and transparency, always honor our clients and partners, and seeking for innovation to improve sustainability and rentability in agribusiness. It was a really short presentation, so here we have, you have our email, follow us and our social media. once again, thank you and have a good event.
Thank you for the great work that you are doing and the service that you are giving to the others. And I think what I appreciate with this session is the diversity of the service and products that you get from the entrepreneurs that you have presented. And I think it will give us a better opportunity for networking. Let's hear from our last presenter for session 2, Mr. Bandile Shabandu of Capri Innovations. Thank you. You can go ahead. Do we have Bandile?
Dear Sifu, can you please upgrade Bandili? He's not as a presenter yet.
While this bundle is being upgraded, can we have those questions streaming into the Q&A box? I think one of the questions that Helena responded to was, how can one benefit from this? Thanks, Helena, for the response. And I think now, if we look at the yesterday's presentations and today's presentations, I think the cycle is being completed. You can see that there are lots of benefits, both in the what are the opportunities, the market opportunities, and who is who doing what, and how can you as an entrepreneur or a service provider plug into the ecosystem and the value chain. So those are some of the benefits that you get from the workshop, as the theme collaborating for innovation has been put forward. You can see we can only benefit and we can grow better when we collaborate. The world is too big for us, and if we compete, we may actually be wasting time. Rather, let's cooperate and grow together. Is Bandile ready?
Sorry, Dr. Togo, you should be ready by now.
All right, let's give him time. Apologies for the delay. Thank you. You can proceed, Mr. Tabandu.
Thank you very much, Dr. Togo. I was a bit worried there for a second. My name is Bandile. I'm founder of Can everyone can hear me, right? Hello?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, perfect. So I'm a founder of Capri Biosciences, which is a company also known as Capri Innovations. We basically developed and market our Capri Bio conversion modules. So our business actually goes in quite well with this, because what we do, we design, implement, and market modular bioconversion units for the production of insect-based protein and fertilizers using organic waste. The reason why we did this is because we've got 10 million tons of organic waste in Johannesburg alone that gets thrown into ever-shrinking dumping spaces. So the waste production is decentralized, it costs a lot to move, and there's a lot of legislation now that actually, and funding that's available to push for greener solutions. So on the other hand, we have farmers that are actually going out of business. We've got farmers that are going out of business because these farmers cannot actually afford to feed their animals, and the population is growing, meat consumption is increasing, which means that our dependency is thrown to fisheries that are also being depleted, and the cost of protein is extremely high. So we at Capri exist by actually starting by creating a modular unit. That's just the casing that you're looking at. It's actually an environmentally controlled black soldier fly, which uses black soldier fly farm, using earthworms and as well as black soldier fly to break down the waste. It's remotely monitorable. We control the environment, and we can actually cycle waste for 14 days from waste up to 30 tons. This unit is actually patented. And from there, we get our products, which are animal feed protein, feed oils, and vermicompost. So our production is actually a standard production, stripping away pretty much the stuff that makes it uniquely Capri's. We basically collect the food waste. We actually sow BSF eggs on it. We rear them. We separate what's left over, sell that as compost, and break everything down into animal feed and oil as well as biodiesel. So we managed to serve huge markets. So our major markets that we service for our bioconversion units, which break down this, is pretty much abattoirs. So we're looking at Gauteng, there's 573. We're working with 2 abattoirs currently. The third one actually, unfortunately, had to close down due to COVID. We actually, the hospitality industries, we're working with some hotels, food processors, wholesalers, and retailers. So all this entire market has one problem. With the ever shrinking spaces to dump our waste, how do we do it effectively? So we come reduce the waste cost from them, and we take the waste and we send them. We actually use it in our own processes. So we actually have 3 major things that we do. We have units that we sell. We actually also rent them the units. We offer a service of waste management. We also offer products that are aimed specifically to the emergent farmer markets. So we sell throughout Gauteng. So as I said, a breakdown of pretty much the numbers that we're working on. So we started with our new model. The company started by being incubated by winning a competition at the Innovation Hub in 2016. And we spent those years developing the product and so on that, and really trying to learn the best solutions for developing a product, developing a technology, patenting it, and going there. But in 2018, we started by launching 2 sites, which is in Chamdo as well as in Muldersdrift. So we developed some technologies, raised funding for what we were to launch as 20 units in Gauteng. So between those 2 sites, we actually launched our standard smaller site. So in 2018, 2020, the plan was to increase those to 3 facilities, and COVID happened. So our 2020 strategy has been moved to 2021, which we're now starting to supply our product into Mozambique, but we want to move and drive our technology uptake. So we actually run pretty much to deliver our solution, we need teammates, right? So we have companies like Modular Solutions, as well as others that actually manufacture our licensed bioconversion units. We have distribution companies like GraceNet Logistics that distribute our product throughout the country. We do on-site training of operators, on-site monitoring, remote monitoring, diagnosis, and system improvements. We also have Capri Biosciences, which sells the oil extract, downstream processing, we manufacture, and then we sell. So all of these are aimed to the consumers. And for us, what the story here is about collaborating. So we've had collaboration partners. The first and our dearest customer would be the Innovation Hub. Without them, we actually wouldn't exist. We had an idea written in a piece of paper, and they said they would give us a space for us to actually try it out. And then from there, we actually work with funding partners such as the DTI, which has various funds that allow us to grow the company. We've also had partnership with the SAB, South African breweries, as well as Diageo. They came in as funding partners, as supporters, but we've managed to graduate that relationship to actually handling their organic waste management. There's products that from SAB in three breweries that are in South Africa, we handle them. Diageo is putting us in charge of 1 unit testing our ability. Then we have TIA, which actually is also a dear partner of ours, which really helped us inject the necessary seed funding that got us to develop our products, linked us with the CSI CSIR as well as the others to develop our R&D and facilitate a relationship with the ARC where we do our product testing. We also ran a training partnership with VUT, a university in the south of Johannesburg, where we train their students to come and work for us. And then we've also had business support partners like Endeavor South Africa. We've had YGAP, which has really helped us really create a business model. And Mogala City local municipality, especially during the COVID, because we're supposed to move into a larger facility in Mogala City last year, which was closed. That entire process had to close down because of we couldn't get licensing. Mogala City local municipality really championed they lessened the stress that came from that. They arranged for us to really get the necessary paperwork on time and running with us with the right supporters. The Innovation Hub is still our biggest partner. What we've decided to also do is to try and find market access outside of South Africa. In Mozambique, we work with a company called Dev Mozambique, which is also championing partner growth for farmers in the area. So we provide product as well as training, and we're looking at partnering in technology products. Green Cape handles the Western Cape, where they link us with people who have waste issues, as well as farmers that need our products. The NCPC is an interesting organization coming out of the CSIR. They run a huge database where people who have waste problems I actually link to the database, and they link us to people who can provide solutions. From there, we've managed to actually do really good business with companies such as Meze Food, McCain, South Africa, as well as Simba, to try and really drive our products, our service solution. So these partners actually came in handy. So for us, it's been a real process of growing through partnerships. So what we've done to date and what COVID has actually not stripped from us is that we've developed a really good team that actually allows us to run the business. We've registered our products, we've actually launched, we patented our solutions, and we've managed to actually create a business development process that keeps rewarding our growth. We've actually shipping live products throughout Southern Africa. And we've signed up 14 large businesses that we can work with in 2021 to grow. So we've actually reinitiated the revenue streams, and our pilot production facility has really is now in line to be launched as soon as we get our licensing in July this year. So we still have to work around developing more products. Obviously, when we develop a product, we need to find the product market fit. We need to actually look at customer acquisition and really look at real paying consumers. And a lot of the time with our emerging farmer market, we run on a discount model because a lot of them, especially during the COVID time, did not actually have the ability to actually buy our product. So we've actually been doing discount structures as well as credit selling, focusing mostly on recouping our losses from our business partners to ensure that we keep the business going. So we want to also export into Kenya, Mozambique, possibly South America, which is very similar in terms of Southern Africa, in terms of need for protein resources, as well as they have a similar waste structure as well as that. So we're also looking to side to that. So we're really talking to some really good Series A funders this year to actually get us where we need to get to in terms of growth. So our entire funding model was informed by a work that was done by Dr. Park in Korea, who runs a lot in terms of biotech as well as agri-tech companies, where they identified that there were huge, for a company to grow, business support, internal resources, as well as spending good human capital, R&D spending. But what the key there was to really look at inter-firm collaborations and international streams as well as downstream and upstream. For us, we're actually looking at upstream collaborations with large companies that have large waste problems. And we actually want to now focus on increasing our downstream collaboration with feed production companies, as well as companies that actually need our services. So again, leading as innovators within this space. So we exist actually to do these things. We want to reduce waste to landfill by 30% in 10 years. We want to reduce fisheries exploitation, reduce carbon emissions caused by animal feed transport. We want to reduce space that is used up by organic waste in our dumps, and we want to reduce methane and greenhouse gases caused by waste decomposition in our landfills. So we're a growing company, and like most companies, we really had a huge struggle with the COVID period. But what we have is leveraging our partnerships with our partners that allowed us to really pivot our solution to COVID, focus on the right market that had the needs, as well as be able to maintain the relationship with our customers who were struggling during that period. So to create a loyalty that we can actually leverage. So that's pretty much us and what we exist to do. Hopefully I haven't been out of time, taking too much time. I'll take any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shabandu. I think there is a question for Mr. Rashrai on what do you need to expand your operations. Can you respond to that?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Togo. So basically, if I can summarize with Ashet, we're currently in the process of partnering up with certain organizations, international organizations. It part being such as the French embassy, where they have a certain network of farmers that they are going to be bringing to our platform. In addition to it, we've also got other organizations that are bringing in partners. And with these partners that they'll bring in, such as farmers within the coffee industry, for example, whereby we'll be facilitating in terms of displaying their produce and linking them to the right retailers or the right businesses that would like to procure. Now, what we are looking for in addition to this is partners that can assist, be it with bringing in farmers, where we create a bigger network and a more broad network. So it's not just limited to certain produce, but open to anything, again, even with things such as equipment, manufacturers of equipment, etc. We are looking to be partnering up with such. And I think there was a question of collaborating with international organizations. Yes, we definitely are looking, and we are actually in the process of finalizing some agreements with international organizations.
Okay, thank you so much. I think what we'll do is we'll keep on reviewing those questions in the Q&A box, and I see we are slightly running behind time, but congratulations to Professor Sergio Pasciolati for the growth of Dr. Brand. I think Dr. Brand was your student, and I think what is inspiring is the fact that we see such kind of leadership from Prof, where you cherish and show your success by how many people that you would help or that would come under your guidance to go higher. So this is something that we would need to inculcate even amongst our entrepreneurs, help others, collaborate, and make sure that you grow together. And still on that, I see Mr. Labandu and all other entrepreneurs, your partners, they are enablers. They are doing what they do best to assist you, which is one of the things I highlighted yesterday, that at times some of our entrepreneurs would need to work with others, outsource the activities that they are least competent in, and focus on what they do best, which is one of the strategies that will help you to grow better. So on that theme of on focusing on the strategy, I would us to move into the next session where we are looking at why and how should agritech startups seek to broaden their horizons, which is, I think, focuses on the strategy for growth. And then you will see even those that are that talked in the first session, some of the questions may keep on coming. I will give you the opportunity. And those that are posing the questions and comments, kindly assist us with indicating who you are posing the question to. So may I take this opportunity to move to the second session, so third sessions which is themed reaching out, where we are going to hear from Miss Figueiredo, Mr. Tome, Mr. Gustavo. Then we'll also go for the launch of the first Brazil-South Africa cross-incubation program that was indicated yesterday. Then we'll hear from the Embassy of Brazil in South Africa and the Technology Innovation Agents. We take questions and answers, and then we'll wrap up. So may I give the platform to Ms. Figueiredo.
Thank you so much, Dr. Togo. Let me just put my presentation on. Yes, let's see. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, I can see it. Thank you. You can proceed.
Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for the invitation. I'd like to thank especially the Embassy of Brazil in Pretoria, the Science and Innovation Department from both Brazil and South Africa, the Innovation Hub, Technology Innovation Agency, and all parties involved, especially supporting Global Entrepreneurship Network, because this is one of the initiatives that I was running in Brazil for a decade ago. And I have amazing memories, so it's very good to be here once again. My name is Ludmila Figueiredo, and I'm the investment officer of Apex Brazil's office for Middle East, North Africa, and Turkey regions. And I'll be here talking about why and how agtech startups should seek to broaden horizons in Brazil and elsewhere. But throughout the presentation, we're going to be going through Apex Brazil's services to investors and a few stats, because I have other colleagues who will be able to give more specific information on agtech as well. So basically, Apex Brazil is the trade and investment promotion agency of the country. We work on a federal capacity, and our mission is based in 3 core pillars: promotion of Brazilian exports, attraction of foreign investment, and supporting Brazilian companies to have a physical presence overseas. And all of this is supported by market intelligence, qualifying the companies in Brazil and opportunities, and promoting Brazil as a global business partner. We're under of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and that gives us capillarity to work in straight collaboration with 121 embassies around the world. But also we have some geographies covered by 9 offices around the globe, as well as 4 offices within the country besides the headquarters.
Ludmila, the presentation is not in full screen.
Oh, thank you. I don't know why it's like that. How can I put it here?
I think you can do the slideshow.
Yeah, that's what I did. Let's put it again.
Okay.
Is it?
It's working. Just a minute.
How is it now?
Yes, I think it's working.
Shall I continue?
Yes, proceed.
You probably are sharing the wrong screen.
Okay,
but that's okay.
Okay,
it's showing the notes. It's showing all the notes.
Okay, do you know how to change this? No, this is not the one. Let me stop sharing the screen for a moment. What about now?
Yes, she was showing the notes.
Okay, if anybody could help me to sort this out, that would be great.
Screen.
I think that now it's okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Perfect. All right. So a few results about Apex Brazil. To date, we have supported 14,000 companies that are representing 30% of Brazilian exports. And there were over $28 billion of investments announced by our support to 1,500 foreign investors to date as well. And our services to investors are mainly related to us becoming a one-stop shop here in Brazil. So we hold their hands of investors throughout this process so that they can have a good soft landing. And that involves whenever the company wants to establish or expand in Brazil, start partnership with Brazilian companies in different ways, allocate funds in other funds or directly to companies through venture capital and private equity, market intelligence, finding a suitable location for their business, as Brazil is so huge, where to establish the company, right? Liaison with regulatory and local authorities. Sometimes this access is not so easy and we facilitate that. One-on-one meetings with stakeholders and investment roundtables and so many other initiatives. This is just a few of them. For this year, I would like to bring to your attention two programs that we have, two initiatives. One of them is the Brazil Investment Forum. This is our main FDI event of the country, happening now in May, on May 31st to June 1st. And the website is there for you guys to register. Feel free to join us. Last year, we had, we had 3,000 registered delegates. And we're expecting a lot from this one because we're going to have high-level authorities, the presidency, and foreign investors talking about what Brazil has to offer, how we're aiming to move ahead in the future. And this is going to cover in so many different sectors. So it's definitely one event that you don't want to miss. And this is going to be 100% online. So you're more than welcome to join us. Another one that is really important is going to start on October 1st, and it's going to happen for 6 months. It's going to be the Expo 2020 in Dubai, UAE. We're hosting the Brazilian Pavilion at the Expo 2020, along with so many other countries involved. And whenever you're able to participate, please, you're more than welcome to come and visit the Brazilian Pavilion. Now, just a few stats about agribusiness, technology, and agtech, because I know that in the past 2 days, you've been extensively listening to this information over and over. I think that now you have a very good idea about our market, but a few stats are really important. And I just want to remind you how important agriculture is in Brazil. Agriculture represents over 40% of total Brazilian exports. And 50 years ago, we were a food importer. We were importing milk from US, meat from Europe, beans from Mexico. And over the years, of course, that due to our technology, research and development, we've been able to shift this paradigm and being one of the top producers and exporters in the world in so many different food crops. So this is a major achievement. And this is one of the reasons why it is to be considered. Monthly, over the past 5 years, we have our growth, we have our exports, but we can see that up to March 2021, there is a very different situation in Brazil that is going to put our exports in agribusiness to another level. And this is the beginning of a nice wave that you could all take part. That's why the moment now is so important for Brazilian agribusiness. And this is not only because of the situation that we're facing now. The pandemic, of course, accelerated somehow the food security needs, and Brazil was part of it to deliver to the whole world, and we did, despite the hurdles, despite the logistic obstacles that we found. But it's not only that, it's about the R&D that we invested for over the years. It's about the strategy that the country has to really diversify and tap into new markets since 2019, over 100 new markets that we're trying to establish partnerships and access, but also non-traditional products. We're trying to shift away from commodities and introduce new products in the food basket, like melon to China, nuts to Saudi Arabia and South Korea, sesame seeds to India, and so on and so forth. So this is really important as well. In terms of tech ecosystem, this is another giant. Agribusiness is a giant, tech is another one. In Latin America, we are the largest market for venture capital, private equity, and 50% of all deals that happen are concentrated in Brazil. We have the largest number in terms of value of inflows of investments. So definitely, this is kind of consistent throughout the years. Of course, sometimes up, sometimes down, but always one of the major players and the largest so far. And in Brazil, we have 13,700 startups growing day by day. And in 2018, we started having our first 3 unicorns. And since then, in less than 3 years, we have now 18 unicorns, including one decacorn, which is Nubank, valued at $25 billion. Not only that, we have a pipeline to watch. We have companies that keep growing on a fast pace, and they're going to become unicorns or very big companies very soon. So we keep watching them. And this is only possible because we have a complete ecosystem nowadays. We have a mature ecosystem that is really, that brings confidence to companies and foreign investors, foreign startups who are looking at this market. If we get the most valued unicorns in the country, we don't find agtech startups over there, agtech growth businesses over there. And that is because agriculture needs a lot of digital transformation, but this is changing. The most valued camels, which are the startups who are not skyrocketing in terms of scalability and rounds of financing and investments, these are companies, these are startups who are growing, that are growing on a fast pace, but steady and strong. And these startups are now bringing food tech and ag tech to the pipeline. And if you put them together, you're going to see that they're going to be in the top 6 sector that is having the most valuation and investments. So this is changing right now. And that's, again, one of the reasons why this is the moment to be in Brazil. On a side note, an interesting fact is in one of the platforms for market intelligence in Brazil, they ran this research on unicorns, and they found out that 24% of all unicorns have foreign entrepreneurs. So this shows that foreign entrepreneurs can really succeed in Brazil. And this is a very nice stat to keep in mind. This slide here shows our support in this ecosystem. I put it on the side because I have to explain it a bit further. So basically, Apex Brazil develops different initiatives to support the tech ecosystem, and it's always related to attracting foreign investors, the LPs, and corporates to invest in funds in Brazil, the GPs, or in innovation acceleration programs. And both of them, the funds and the programs, would finance and invest Brazilian companies and startups. Of course, that sometimes it happens directly, but we have several programs catering to that. One of them is the Scale Up Brazil. We do that in partnership with Israel, tech makers, also with Israel and Switzerland. Besides partnerships that we run on an ongoing basis with the Brazilian Association of Private Equity and Venture Capital, the publisher of Corporate Venture, and so on and so forth. So we have different initiatives. And to finalize, bringing both giants together and joining in AgTech. We have now 1,215 startups in the country, and they are really concentrated in South and Southeast. What is interesting to know is that the year before, in 2018, this stat is about 2019, and the new report will be launched soon by by AgTech rather. What is interesting is to know that from 338 startups, we jumped to 1,200. And this is a big jump. And again, because the attention now is in AgTech and the digital transformation is happening on a fast pace. And this is one of the reasons why we're going to see and expect a lot more to come. Just to bring a snapshot of also what's happening there, considering before the farm, inside the farm, and after the farm, we see that 47%, almost half of the startups in Brazil are catering to after the farm, such as Agritech Online, that I just presented here. And there's plenty of opportunity still in before the farm for R&D, biotechnology, innovation that we can do research and development, and inside the farm as well. So this is a snapshot for you to see. And in terms of investments happening in the sector, we can also see a big jump, not only in terms of deals, but in terms of value that is related to this, to AgTech. So we have $80 million invested in 2018. That said, I can only bring just a few highlights because I know that you got even more insights from other sessions. I'm available here for you. I want to thank you once again and pass the baton to Dr. Togo once again. Thank you.
Thank you for the insightful presentation. And I think our entrepreneurs can see the need for us to expand into other horizons. And our next presenter is Mr. Jose Tommy from Agritech Garage. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Everyone can hear me? It's okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Agritech Garage. It's an innovation hub specialized in agriculture in Brazil. But also we are working with startups and some partners in Latam, and we have plans to be more global in the next years come. It's a very nice presentation from my colleague Ludmila, and I just would like to complement some points about the ecosystem before I talk about Agritech Garage. The ecosystem, AgTech ecosystem, if you can do a zoom in our community of startups. Nowadays, about 800 startups all around Brazil and Latin America. Let me show some slides that can be interesting to understand. This one is this one. I think everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Good. Here I see the portfolio of startups that are connected with Agritech Garage in a virtual mode. It's about 800 startups. And if you see the years of foundation, most of them was founded from the 4 or 5 years ago. It's we are in the infancy of this movement, but growing very fast. Here, some aspects of this kind of technologies. We see a lot of solutions when you talk. Oh my God, no, it's not here. When you talk about system management, decision make tools. Also, when you talk about precision agriculture, e-commerce, marketplace, but also Industry 4.0 and education, fintechs, ag fintechs in the agribusiness, traceability, a lot of solutions, supply chain. And also, when you talk about what they are doing related with the market, the primary markets that they are, the solution are work on, it's soybean, sugarcane, also coffee, but there are a lot of others industry that are looking for solutions. And just to see about the stats of the products, the phase, we see some of the startup in a prototype phase and MVP, product, minimal viable product, but a lot of them are finished and growing the products. Just a zooming in our community of the startup that can help to understand a little more about the level of the startups and when the startup was founded. Then you can understand more about the agtech ecosystem in Brazil. But I also will show some slides about Agritech Garage, that it's very interesting to understand the open innovation movement that we see nowadays. That it, from my point of view, is very important for the entrepreneurs that would like to start and growing their companies in ag, because the go-to-market for the ag solutions is not so easy. And when you work in collaboration with big corporates and other actors in the ecosystem, the success of the initiative probably will be more efficient. In my point of view, no ways to be an entrepreneur alone inside your garage. The garage nowadays is like Agritech Garage. It's a hub, a lot of players looking for collaboration. It's a new innovation dynamic. It's very important for the entrepreneur to understand about it and how they can connect with all these players to make things happen. We are based on Piracicaba. I saw some entrepreneurs that presented their solution today, talking about Exaltec in Piracicaba, related with a lot of students from Exalc start the entrepreneur journey. We are in the technology park of the city, 150 kilometers from São Paulo. And when you talk about ecosystem, it's very important to talk about density all together, meeting, discussing, talking, sharing knowledge and practices, and of course, working together. We was founded just 3 years ago, and now we have a strong network of partners. It's about 50 big corporates involved from different stage of the value chain. We have some partners in logistics, also in food, in finance, machines. We have different profile of companies like cooperatives, also farmers like sugarcane producers, Samuel. We put all together to create the new, connecting with startup and entrepreneurs. We have different kind of programs to make the things happen between the partners and the startups. Also connect the academy. We have the fellowship program that brings some research to understand more deep about the pain points of the farmers, what the industry are looking for, Also, we have a program for farmers, Agritech Garage, that opened the doors of the hub to connect the farmers direct to the startups. We have some programs related with sustainability. It's financed by Cargill with us, and also Intensive Connection. It's not just an accelerator program. We say that it's a program that put together corporate and startup to promote the business together. It's an equity-free program, and this year was the first edition of Latam. Was the first edition that we are working in Latam. About the startup, as I show, we have the virtual platform with about 800 of startups that are connected, but we have a network of startups that are resident and membership that are more close to us. All these startups are supporting by our comment manager that on a daily basis talk with the startup, promote connections with partners, mentor. It's interesting to see startup from different parts of the world, come from abroad, Airball from USA, Argentina, Netherlands, and others. They come, and of course that when they are here, they can share with other entrepreneurs. And let me show just how we can bring value for startups that are in our network. A lot of connections, of course. As I say, the comment manager that is the focal point to work together to understand the startup and to understand who is interested to be connected. We have a lot of events, more than 300 people that are connected with us, investors, as I mentioned, mentoring program, a lot of exposure in our social media. Also, we started this week the Agritech Garage News. It's very interesting to communicate for Brazil and abroad what's going on in the Agritech ecosystem. And also, yeah, when the entrepreneur come to us, they have all the support to open the company, to register the company, and it's now much more easy and faster way. I will share the presentation. Our purpose as a hub, feeding the entrepreneur who will feed the world. And it's important to understand that the entrepreneur here is not just the founder of the startup, but also the farmer that we see as an entrepreneur, and also the entrepreneurs that come from our corporate partners all together to bring new solutions for the agribusiness sectors. It's just about it at the beginning, and then it would be good if you have some questions to answer with all.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation, and we can see that there is power within the ecosystem, and I hope in our third edition of this soft landed both in Brazil and in South Africa. And just to, I see my internet is saying connection unstable. I hope you are hearing me. Just to indicate also the power of partnership in this open innovation. I know Innovation Group, the founder member is Dr. Michael Magondo, and they unearthed the excellent rooftop farming opportunities. And I've seen a couple of rooftops within the city of Johannesburg being efficiently used to produce food. So I think these are some of the initiatives that can be cross-linked with some of the entrepreneurs in Brazil. So our next presenter is Mr. Gustavo. And pardon me, I'm not going to pronounce your surname because I am not, I was not coached, so I don't want to pronounce it the way that it is not supposed to be. So you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Togo. Before I make a short presentation, I would like to have your feedback if you can hear me very well, and also if you can see my presentation in my desktop in a few seconds.
Okay, I can hear you very well, and the presentation I think is going to come up very soon.
Okay.
Yes, I can see it very well. Thank you.
That's very good. So I'm having internet connection problems here. If my voice comes slow, please just let me know. I will close my camera, all right?
Okay, thank you. You can proceed.
All right, okay. So, well, let me just say just a few words here. I would like to send my regards to the previous panelists, Ms. Ludmila, Mr. José Tomé, and also say congratulations to the Brazilian Embassy in the person of Elena. It's been amazing, very good organization. Congratulations, all right? So let's move ahead. My name is Luis Gustavo, right? International Relations Coordinator at Agritech, which is the Brazilian Association of Science Parks and Business Incubators and Accelerators, right? In a brief introduction of Agritech, I'd like to emphasize that we act as a national network of innovation environments. So here, just a few numbers. Agritech represents, aggregates, and promotes plus 370 associated innovation areas that what we call accelerators, incubators, and science parks. And to give you an idea of this huge network, I would brought some numbers to let it clear in the next slide. Here, we have more than 300 business incubators. This is all over Brazil, from south to the north, almost 50 science parks. And I draw your attention because we have more than 100 initiatives. I just highlighted here 44 science parks in operation, plus 57 accelerators, and almost 10,000 incubator startups. So if you can contrast the data that Ms. Ludmila shared about the number of startups in Brazil, we have a amount of 13,000. And here we have almost 10,000 incubated companies. So this number reached 1,337 companies in science parks, all right? And this is just a small picture, and it does not, how can I say, it does not resume the whole Brazilian innovation ecosystem, but I draw our attention to the players which Agritech provides service support, okay? Now, let's go straight to the point. And today I was invited to present to you one of our service dedicated to tech-based startups and innovation environments. But however, before I move forward, I would like to make 4 questions, enjoying this huge audience in South Africa, okay? So my first question to you, would you like to expand your tech-based company abroad? Great. My second question would be infrastructure, accounting, legal requirements, HR service. Is that what you need when you think in your internationalization process? Third, are you interested in identifying a reliable overseas partners to provide on-site and online service support? We have just to think that we are living right now a pandemic situation, and sometimes on-site interaction would not be possible. And otherwise, we can include online service support as well. And my last question, have you ever considered to soft landing your business through an innovation environment? Great. So if you answered yes to most of this question, I would like to present something that must be to you, the Land-to-Land platform, okay? Well, the Land-to-Land platform is a partnership between the Brazilian Service of Small and Micro Enterprise, Apex, the institution that Ms. Ludmila is representing right now, and also Amprotech. And this Land-to-Land is a soft landing platform which connects tech-based startups with innovation environments, such as technology parks, business incubator in Brazil or in any other country, all right? So if you are wondering yourself, am I Agritech South African startup? Should I apply for this platform? So you will discover ahead. It offers easy access to a trust network made up of previous assessed and registered technology parks incubators. And on the Land-to-Land website, it is possible to get quickly information about the sector and the marketing and the technological advances of registered business incubator and science parks. So you will find out, for example, service provided to support the startup internationalization that you are looking for. Great. So here is what you're going to find out as a user at the platform Land-to-Land, all right? We have here 95 innovation environments that are already registered. If we go in a zoom, we can see 46 Brazilian innovation environments. You can imagine 46 business incubators that can support your strategy in the internationalization process in Brazil. And if you would like to go outside of Brazil, and also you can enjoy the platform because you have 49 foreign innovation environments that are already registered. Otherwise, if you are, for example, innovation environment, you will find out another database of tech-based startups. So here we have 168 tech-based Brazilian startups and 24 foreign. So it is time to get access to this platform. Well, if you are a South African startup and you are interested, for example, in get in touch with a Brazilian business incubator manager, okay? We have 46 Brazilian business incubator which are ready to provide this kind of contact at the first level, right? By the platform, you will be able to inquire Brazilian business incubator managers to request service support for your needs, right? Now, I'm going to give you an idea of what kind of service you can identify, right? Here is a general provided service by the innovation environment. You can find support in infrastructure, for example, marketing information, HR service, legal and regulatory service, foreign trade service, and also you can book a visit to see and well, to understand better the infrastructure. It is important to let you know to register your profile in the platform is free of charge, right? You can search whatever you want in our database. Now, the service will be a specific situation. Once you have identified a business incubator in Brazil that is showing itself as a soft landing provider, right? And they can provide you, for example, infrastructure or marketing information. You have to have You must have to get in touch with them to understand their financial politics, or if they already have a specific program that can support your progress in Brazil. It's a very important note to let you know. All right, so move on. Here is a few steps to join the platform. If you work at an innovation environment like technological park, incubator, accelerator, or a co-working or tech company, you are able to register the land-to-land platform for free. As I told you before, access the QR codes below and you'll be moved straight to our website. I will just let this slide for a few seconds more to help you to enjoy this online presentation, okay? And scan my slides, okay? I'm really waiting for many and thousand access to South African companies in this moment. It's gonna be very important for us. Okay, the first level, okay, the first step, okay? The first step, you have to choose the type of organization you are, if you are in an innovation environment or a company. Step number 2, you have to put additional information. It's pretty quickly. Name of the innovation environment or a company, taxpayer registration number, full name and position. And the third point, fulfill your profile with more specific information. Now, if you are, for example, a business incubator, it would be very important if you can highlight your program. What do you have specifically to support, for example, Brazilian startups who are looking to be supported in a soft landing strategy in South African country, right? It's very good to let you know. Innovation environments must have a program to support internationalization companies to be approved by the platform managers, all right? Well, and this is the platform, okay? This is what you're gonna find. You can see a search. You can search it by typing the name of the country you want to find, or even by typing the name of the innovation environment directly. Then, if you are logged, you can get in touch with other innovation environments and companies. And if you have any problem during this process of contact another partner, Amprotech can be mobilized and we can support you in this contact, right? I hope you enjoyed this presentation and really would like to see many South African startups and business incubator in this platform. And here's my contact. Enjoy also my QR code to connect you with me in our social network, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. What a great offering. I think entrepreneurs and innovators should take advantage of all these offerings and support that you give. It's really encouraging. Before we move on to the launch, I think Prof. Pasholati has got some input to make. And while he is preparing to make that comment, there's a question in the Q&A box where someone is asking about the linkages or connection or networks with startups in beef or cattle breeding. Can we have someone answer that? Professor, you can go ahead.
Hello, good morning. I'm just okay. Now we have a different screen. Well, first of all, we are almost at the end of this meeting, and I would like to give the congratulations to the South Africa government and the Brazilian government because of this kind of meeting, and also thanks Dr. Togo and Elena for making all this possible. It was very nice for everybody from our side and your side to meet people. And as we could see, we have a very large picture regarding interaction between Brazil and South Africa and startups and innovation. As a big wall, I'm here just talking about some small bricks of this wall. So I would like to make available to everybody that wants the Exalc incubator that is connected to Exalc USP University, and even USP University, that's the second biggest university in Latin America, and the first one in Brazil. And also make available the core of the tech park of Piracicaba for anybody that wants to do something. And even the local ethanol cluster, that's a big cluster that we have here. So all these contacts I will give to Elena, and if anybody wants to connect to them, it will be possible. But the strongest areas, I would say, would be the Agritech versus our incubator and our university here in Piracicaba. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for that information. Thank you. Thank you, the panelists. I think we move on to the launch of the first Brazil-South Africa cross incubation program. Can we hear those that are doing the launch? The platform is yours. After that, we hear from the Embassy of Brazil and the Technology Innovation Agency. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Togo. I'd like to just say a big thank you to you for managing and moderating the day. Thank you to all the innovators and entrepreneurs that were online and all of the panelists. I'm very excited to say that with the Brazil Embassy, together with the Brazil Embassy, TIA, and Protect from Brazil, and as well as the Department of Science and Innovation, we will be launching the first cross incubation virtual sport program for Brazil and South African startups in the Agritech sector. The program really consists of an immersion of Brazilian startups in the South African innovation ecosystem, and similarly, the immersion of South African startups in the Brazil innovation ecosystem. We're proud to say that the South-to-South collaboration between Brazil and South Africa really links to the Sustainable Development Goal 2, which really speaks to zero hunger, as well as number 3, which speaks to well-being. We find that there's a lot of similarities between Brazil and South Africa, and it really is important for agriculture, as it is the startup environment which both countries underpins opportunities to be realized in the agri-tech sector. So really looking on building from strength to strength in Brazil and South Africa, we're glad to be launching the first virtual incubation support program. We do know it's not the same than coming to South Africa or the South Africans going to Brazil. And hopefully there'll be an opportunity at the later stage when all of the COVID dies off. So really, I'm looking forward to engaging with all of you. And I think the main key objective really is to look at how do we collaborate in terms of South Africa and Brazil on our agri-tech sector. You will find that the call out will go out soon. Obviously, it will go out in Brazil and it will go out in South Africa, where there will be criteria and selection processes that will take place. So I'm looking forward to engaging with all of you. And I'm going to hand over to Helena. And I'm so sorry that my camera doesn't want to go on. And well done to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Togo. I'm just going to hand over to Helena.
Thank you so much, Senisha, and also allow me to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Togo for his fantastic work in organizing all the discussions and moderating our meeting, and thank all the speakers. I think we are really able to bring together the main players of the ecosystems in Brazil and South Africa, and I cannot imagine a better way to be finalizing this session as by launching this concrete initiative, which we are working on for a long time with the great support from Protec. And I I think it's great that we are able to bring Gustavo to speak just before us with TIA and DSI. Vou falar, eu speak a little bit in Portuguese also, para reforçar o convite a todos os brasileiros que estão participando. Claro, o lançamento da plataforma, todo o programa vai ser em inglês, mas de qualquer jeito eu me dirijo em português para convidá-los para se inscrever no programa de incubação cruzada virtual, que vai ser, cuja chamada vai ser lançada nos próximos dias, e contando com uma grande participação, porque realmente, como a Senisha mencionou, há muito que pode ser feito entre Brasil e África do Sul, há muitas similaridades, e é uma oportunidade que a gente tem de realmente fazer uma troca e estabelecer uma parceria concreta. So I'm sorry to all the English speakers. I just address all my fellow Brazilian colleagues and inviting them to participate in the joint call. And I think you all have received many mails from me. So you have all my contact details. We're gonna be sending out this call as soon as possible, and all the contact details, and if you have any questions, it will be indicated in the documents who you can address. And it was really good to finalize this fantastic event with so many great people starting this great project, which is real a new step. It brings a new era of collaboration. If I may, I'll also like to invite all to another event that the embassy is holding in May 26 and 27. It's going to be on the space industry. It's very specific on the space industry, but still we are expecting to discuss applications, space applications, and one of the areas which we're more interested in discussing is Agritech. So discussing the second day of the event, there will be discussions on the space applications for agriculture with B2B meetings, rounds organized, and you are all also welcome to join us there. So Dr. Togo, I think from my side, that's also it. I thank Senisha for introducing the subject, and I guess we are open for Q&A now. Thank you.
Thank you for that, and there's an opportunity again for those who were asking how could they be part of it and how could they participate. There is a call that is going to come, and let's all join that we are part of the movement. Indeed, when I listen to these presentations, there is a lot of hope, and we will feed the nations. And I think I see there should be someone talking from the Embassy of Brazil and also from TIA, if I'm right, Helena.
Sorry, Dr. Togo, the sound break for me. Can you repeat your question?
Okay, I'm saying on the program, there is someone who should be speaking from the Embassy of Brazil as well as from the Technology Innovation Agency as part of our closing.
Yes, no, it was Senisha and myself. Senisha is from TIA, I'm from the embassy. So it was the two of us.
Okay, no, thank you so much. So
we are doing good on time today.
Definitely, yeah. So what I may ask is maybe from the panelists in the last session, the session 2 and session 3, if I can have one commenting and amongst the entrepreneurs, one from Brazil, one from South Africa, on the whatever challenges you have faced or issues that you need to share, especially around how you balance the needs of the partners as well as the issue of fundraising how do you determine, or how have you navigated the issue of equity investors versus grant investors? That is for me on the internationalization. Maybe it could be share with us what are the common fears that you normally see as when it comes to internationalization, and then we can close the session. Thank you. Any takers for the entrepreneur session, the issue of equity investors versus grant funding, and balancing the different priorities of partners in your businesses.
I think that I can share some experience from Brazil.
Thank you.
This question, Mr. Togo, is a very, very interesting question. And I think that for us that are starting a startup, it's very important to be connected with the environment, mainly with the incubators, with the parks, with this kind of seminar, with this kind of event, to be very close of all the members of the environment, and be very open to all kinds of investments, for example, and to be very patient, because this kind of event is not isolated event. You need to build a relationship with a lot of types of investors, different companies, and you need to build this relationship to be able in a specific time to get this kind of investment. You don't, we won't be a easy way. I think that for us, for example, we had 2 investments in the last 3 years, and we started to build the plan to get this investment since we founded our startup in 2015. So we built the relationship with a lot of kind of possibilities, and only after 3 years we get the first investment. So this is a long way, and you need to be very open and very close with all the parts to build this possibility. And you need to be very patient also, because you are establishing, you are building a startup. You need to be very focused in your business, because you need to develop your innovation, but by the other side, you need to are looking for the investment that you allowed you overcome your POC, for example. I don't know if I should contribute for the description. I hope so.
Thank you so much. You have given valuable information, and particularly here in South Africa, the issue of patience and the issue of time that is required between initiating and getting the investment. I see my internet is a bit unstable, but we face in South Africa. I don't know, Mr. Rashrai, do you need to add something?
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Mr. Togo. I just wanted to add that definitely agree with Leandro Silva with relations to when you're getting, so there's a balance between getting a grant versus getting an investor, as it also gets very tricky. At times, a grant could just mean you are given money, but not necessarily the resources. And at times as well, investors can come in with the resources and with the partnerships. And again, it's something that we're open with. If I can speak for Ashet specifically, we are definitely open to both. However, it's a very tricky balance between the two, as you also would not want someone that would just leave you with, for example, just money. You would also want opportunities. You would also want for them to open up certain relations for you. And I think that is a lot more important than merely having money in your business bank account. I think relations and partnerships are a lot more important because they go a long way down the line. I don't know if I answered your question, Mr. Togo.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if I can complement just a little.
We used to tell our entrepreneurs that sometimes 100% of 1% of a million. Okay, I think there was a dragging on my side. Can you proceed?
Yeah, if I can complement just a little.
Okay.
Nowadays, it's so easy to be connected with the ecosystem to find the right persons. You can use platforms like Lane to Lane, Agritech Garage Hub, and the others, accelerator and programs like what we are launching nowadays today. It is very important. The VC industry is the same, have this mainly the same practice everywhere. It's important to understand the specific situation of the ecosystem in local, like in Brazil nowadays, corporate venture capitals, farmers that would like also to invest. There are all options to get the money, to have the investor, different kind of investors. And you cannot come at the beginning and first of all, ask for investors. You need to talk with the farmers, with potential partners, talk with as much person you can, and you will understand the complete situation. And then we can, you probably can choose if you have a good technology, promise, validated, talking with a lot of person, you can choose the investors and not just wait for the investors find you. Nowadays, as I say, it's so easy to connect. You need to start connecting with as much person you can, talking, then the fund will come for sure. But it's not so fast. It's relationship involved, of course.
Thank you so much. And from the internationalization team, what are the main fears that what are the main fears that you identified amongst the entrepreneurs when it comes to internationalization?
I think it's not about fear in general. It's about opportunity. It's about ambitions, and it's about time, the right time to do it, because we have a big market in Brazil, in South Africa also. Then what's the best time when you will be prepared? But I'm seeing that even more the startup are being prepared earlier, and I think that it's important to think in big global as much you can at the beginning. As we see nowadays, we can connect it in a virtual mode. It's no more an issue. there are a lot of opportunity. But yeah, the entrepreneur need to strategically think about what's the best time, what's the opportunities, and about ambitions to be global.
Thank you so much. I think this has been a very informative session, and thank you, Elena and team.
Dr. Togo, sorry, I just saw
Yes.
that Professor Pascolati would like to make another comment.
Please go ahead, Professor.
Well, Dr. Togo, thank you again. Well, I think that this kind of meeting is very important, but we cannot forget one thing that the COVID-19 showed us, that we are a very big family. We live in this planet, and this planet depends upon us. So regarding all what is talking about startups, innovation, things like that, we can never forget about the reduction of pollution in our planet, offering health, food, and the social side and quality of life for people. So here we are talking about startups, innovation, agritechs, but always I think that we have to have this in mind, our planet and the human population. No?
Thank you, Professor, and thank you all the panelists and all the attendees and the organizers, and we hope to meet again next year. Stay safe, and I think from my side, I can, with your permission, I can close the session, and I say in Brazil, you have a productive day. South Africa, you have a good evening, and wherever you are, you have a great time. Thank you so much.